Couple of movies, a couple of recommendations that you brought to my attention, Ricardo. So
Right.
I finally checked them out. First
Sure.
one being 1001.
Right. Nice.
Yes, saw it a couple days ago, and just to get it out of the way, yeah, I really enjoyed this, man. I did not
Yeah, it's a
expect
real
to enjoy
deal.
it as much as I did, but I did,
Yeah.
and that's thanks in part to Tiana Taylor, who absolutely crushes it as
Yep.
Inez, right? And what the
Yeah.
story is about is basically what was set in it's set in the mid 90s, where in New York, right? And we see Inez, right, who was this convicted thief, but she's very passionate about hairdressing, and she wants to start a little business in that, right? Yeah, she's released from Rikers Island. She returns home, and first thing she does, she's looking for her son Terry, right? And basically throughout this show, you just see the relationship between her and Terry, right? Because yeah,
Right.
it's a rocky one. You know what I mean? For one thing, I mean, she was locked up for how much years now? So Terry more or less kind of just
Have
distance
no.
himself emotionally from her,
Right.
right? Even at a young age, 6 years old actually, where we introduced him, right? Um, and she basically is just trying to patch their relationship back, right? And things seem okay, you know what I mean? Even though she is catching G royals, you know what I mean, in terms of getting a place to like just finding a spot to rest her head, right? And a son's head basically, finding a job and stuff like that. It's rough, right? It's rough. But I do love how I didn't even expect this guy. I thought it was just going to be about her and Terry at 6 years old. I didn't think that the show was going to skip years, right? So it
Right.
cuts to the 2000s or early 2000s. I think if I'm not mistaken, before September 11. Though it's in
Right.
2001. I just can't remember when, but I think it's before 2000. Before September 11, because I don't think they mentioned September 11 at all, right? Yeah.
Right.
So Terry has grown up now. He's 13 years old. Doing what every 13-year-old boy does. He's studying gills. Of course, he has, a friend of his. Well, actually, I like that he set that up early on where and how they met in the first place. Yeah, so, he trying to, I should say, Ina's making sure that he's staying in school and all that kind of stuff. While at the same time, I forgot to mention too, prior to that time skip now, time jump or whatever it is. Yeah, we were introduced to what would be his stepfather, who is played
Right.
by Will Catlett, right? Yeah, and he is from
Right. Black
so
from
yeah,
black
yeah,
black
yeah,
from
yeah.
Black Lightning. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember the face from Blacklight. It was like, hey, you're this too. Okay, cool, right? So yeah, even though they themselves have a rocky relationship, I do love the show for doing this, right? He is not the traditional deadbeat dad, even though he kind of is, right? But
Right.
what they set up, similar to the mom, is that financially and emotionally, it's kind of hard for him to raise this child. So ever so often, they kind of duck out, they make excuses for themselves and say, I'm looking for a job or looking for a house, blah, blah, blah. And then they don't show up for months on end or weeks on end, right? So it's like that, right? But yeah,
Yeah.
Lucky, that's the character in the show, is like, all right, I'm here for you all now. I'm going to stay with you all, right? And then, at 13, he is there for a while, but then eventually he leaves because he just can't deal with Inez's, sorry to say it, bullshit, right? Okay, yeah,
Right.
she's going through hard times as well, and she just more or less threw it at him, right? I mean, we understand, right? But yeah, it's like that, right? And then they do another time jump now. So now we see Terry at 17 years old, right?
Right.
Um, and he's contemplating what he should do after college, right? What job he should take and all that kind of stuff, right? And unfortunately, something bad happens. Lucky, that's all I'll say without spoiling anything. And
Yeah.
then you kind of learn something about Inez that
Right.
more or less put
This
the
was a
show to a complete halt by. And I
yeah.
won't
This was a
lie,
good.
it
It
was
catch
it
you.
was yeah, it catch me completely by surprise,
Yeah.
right? Because I
That
was
is why the movie.
yeah, you're exact. That's when the movie
Yeah.
really ramp up. Don't mind it's in
Yeah.
the third act, right? So let's a jump interview here one time, right? So for me, while I was watching this, I was just like, all right, we're just seeing, the ups and downs of, being a mom in Brooklyn and, having to deal with gentrification and stuff like that. Okay, I get, all right, I get. I was thinking about what to say about it being a black struggle film. It is a black struggle film, though, but I like that it doesn't hit you over the head and tell you it's all it
Right.
sucks. Life sucks, blah blah blah, right? It just kind of show you, yeah, it's about resilience. It's just about survivor, right? Actually, shockingly, no like violence in it, right? Which
Right.
actually surprised me. Okay, I think it's set in the 90s, so they have to do like the 90s, hood drama kind of thing where they must have
Right.
some kind of scene of
Yeah.
violence. But no, there was none in it. I was shocked. Like what?
Yeah. Sad hood movie. Sad hood movie.
Yeah, yeah. It basically is a sad hood movie. That basically what it is, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, when they drop that bombshell, though, I don't want to spoil what it is, right? It had you really thinking about what it is you saw before, right? And I guess what I kind of delve into it, I want to delve into it a little bit without spoiling too much, right? But maybe I might
Right.
sell it up, who knows, right? But yeah, what that moment does and how the whole show plays out is just really showing, yeah, what it means to be a mother, like just
Right.
really the effort put into it, too, right? Um, I love the character of Inez. I love how, well, just how complex of a character she is, right? Because she
Yes.
is indeed flawed, right? She is purposefully flawed. And what I mean flawed is just like you think that she have things under control, but she will go through some kind of struggle, and then she will kind of take it out on everyone around her, right? But
Right.
she wants to do she wants to do right by her son, right? But you could tell how difficult it is. She's not a perfect person as well, right? Um, as easy for you at first to look at her, yeah, I'd be like, yeah, well, why you do what it is you do? You was in jail. You stole stuff, right?
Right.
You're not a fit mom, right? But the whole show just kind of examines that, right? Is she a fit mom or not, right? I kind of came out of it like, yes, she is, right? She is fit,
Right.
right? In the sense that she continually pushes herself to be better and to always take care of Terry, right? Even though at points she will feel weakened and burdened and almost the point like, yeah, I need to be out for a couple of weeks. Go stay by your aunt while I figure this shit out, right? That's her character. I actually love that, right? Even right down to Lucky as well too, and how he's portrayed. Because yeah,
Right.
on surface level, he's the deadbeat dad. He can't manage things, so he just duck out and he cheating on she and blah blah blah, right? Um, there's one gripe though. I felt they could have given him a little bit more characterization, right? Because I know there's more to him than I can't handle this. I go on or trying to set something up for all. I know there's more to him than that, right? Where his character arc ends though is really heartbreaking though. I really really
Yeah.
felt that. And just as heartbreaking though is the end of it though, and well after the realization, and where Terry is at that point though, like there's a moment, there's a conversation scene, sorry, with between Terry and Inez that like flat out broke me, like it broke me, especially Terry though, like this,
Yeah.
how he's gonna move on from this. That's all you'll say without spoiling, right? But yeah, at the end of the day, it's just this solid character piece though. In my head, I just thinking it's just gonna be about Inez and Terry, like young Terry, and we're just gonna see their experiences, and there's gonna be struggle. But no, seeing the growth though of both characters really worked for me though. But I really felt it for Terry. Yeah? But I like how just to wrap things up, how kind of deceptive the film is because you just there watching like, oh, it's kind of a slice of life thing. Okay, all right, I'm watching it. All right, I get it. And then that reveal hits you, and it's like, oh
Yeah.
shit! And now you're thinking about everything that you saw before. Um,
Yeah.
even right down to the end and where these characters are going to be. You know
I,
what I
I
mean?
love the
I
ending to
love
this. I
that.
love the ending.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Love
Just
the
a
ending.
little nitpick though. I would have done without the slow mo. The little
Right.
slow mo in the end with the last shot. I would have done without that. That's
Right.
kind of cheesy, kind of cheesy. But
Yeah.
other than
Okay.
that though, other than that, everything else around it, I really
You know,
enjoyed, man.
this movie remind me of a lot. It remind me of He Got Game a little bit.
Oh
I think
yes,
it's I
I
think it's
need
in
to
New York and
rewatch He
stuff.
Got
But
Game, but I enjoyed
right.
that. That's like one
Yeah.
of Spike Lee's best
Very
90s
underrated movie.
films, in my opinion, right?
Yeah.
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 But yeah, really enjoyed it though. I did pick up on the what you said about you heard a little Takal in it. It was just this
Right.
one
Right.
Wu
Yeah.
Tang song, but what I heard is like,
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
right, this for Wu Tang nerds. Like if you know a lot
Right.
about their music, yeah, you will know where
Yeah.
that song came from. But it works, right? And you really got that feel of New York. That's another thing that I love about it.
Right.
It felt
Yeah, we
authentically like New York.
New York having a little moment this year, right? You know, we had Transformers, we had Spider-Man, and now well, Turtles at
Yeah,
this.
we're gonna talk about
Yeah,
Turtles. Yeah. New
yeah,
York
well, a little
though.
New
You know what
York,
I mean?
plenty New York in this. Yeah, New York
Yeah,
have a
yeah.
moment, having a moment. Yeah.
Yeah, by the end of the day, though, Tiana Taylor is great as this. I
Yes,
don't think I've seen
very good
her.
in
I've
this.
never
Yeah.
seen her act before, to be honest, right? But yeah,
Right.
she was fantastic in this, and every. What I would say though, I guess this is probably to the show's detriment though. If it came out a little later this year, then we would have been we probably would be talking a lot more about Tiana Taylor's performance, right? In terms
Right.
of like
That's true.
Oscar buzz, right? But yeah, she is a real deal in this. Though she holds it together, you feel the burn and pain, and you also feel like yeah, just her just kind of figure things out there. You know what I mean? While things play out, right? And that's what I love about the character is how she has to deal with things, and it's hard on her, right? But you could see the strength that she has to muster, just to get by, man. I really appreciate that, right? So yeah, thoroughly enjoyed this one, man. Strong 4 to 5 for me. One of the best films I've seen this year, though. Will this be a staple of Mother's Day, film recommended, film viewing? I think so. I think if you just wanna, if you're a mom and you just wanna see a
Yeah,
show
no
that you
guilt
can
trip.
relate to, yeah, yeah, come
Yeah,
on,
guilt
it's like
trip,
yeah,
guilt trip your children. Yeah.
yeah, it's like yeah, and you show your kids like you see how hard it is to be a mother. So
Yeah.
don't ever cuss about it. You see how hard it is, right?
You know.
It's one of those shows. But what I like most of all, though, and I'll shut up here, right? It could have just simply be that, right? But to have Terry's story play out as well now, and this him, just
Right.
him being the son of seeing his parents kind of split and kind of go and come all the time, right? And
Yeah.
how he has to maneuver in the world, especially with that reveal. Yeah, that really hit, really connected with me, even more than Inez's story, to be honest, right? But yeah,
Right.
overall, great film. Expect this to show up on a lot of people's best of lists, for the year. So
It's right now. It's still in my top five. For
oh,
the
okay,
year.
top five for you. Wow. Okay, okay.
Yeah.
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 So I guess Ricardo, if you have, or if you want to repeat what you said earlier, or any extra things you want to say about the film,
Yeah,
yeah, take it away.
not really. You cover it more or less. As I say, again, it's one of those movies go in solid, and then they hit you that moment, and it's like, all right, it's really really good, and it does. Another movie kind of reminds me of a little bit is Precious, but one thing I didn't like about Precious is that Precious was too much. This
Yeah,
felt more organic, much more organic in terms of the black strugglers of the whole thing. It felt more plausible, more realistic. Right. Whilst I thought Precious was too much. It piled on too much. This one worked, right? When especially with that big moment and thing, and why that decision was made. And I thought that was really excellent. For it is. So yeah. This was it's very good for me. I still love it. I love. So yeah.
And another recommended film was Showing Up, right? Which is a new film from A24. Now, you know
Right.
me, A24, fucks with A24. Anything they put out or any trailer that drop, I am excited for, right? Here's
Right.
the thing, though. I may
Showing
have
up. Did I
seen this.
see
I
this?
may have. You
So
mentioned
did I?
Showing Up, or I think it's right. That's the one with
It, it
Andrew
came out last
2000.
year. Right. Yeah, yeah. Okay, yeah. This is Okay, right. I know with the clay, with the
Yeah,
clay.
right,
Right, right,
right.
right,
That
right.
that one,
Yeah,
that one,
right,
right? Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
right,
So I checked that out as well too. And just to get well before I get to my thoughts, right? So what it's about in a nutshell is that we are introduced to it's about a sculptor by the name of Lizzie, who's played by Michelle Williams, right?
right.
Um, she works at this art studio, right? Um, and it actually catch me by surprise the place it was though, because I just see
Yeah,
it
of course.
all these creatives just doing all the stuff. I just they're like, where's
Yeah,
this? This is
that's
not a college.
that's
Like,
Seattle.
what's
That's Seattle. That's the whole of fucking Seattle.
you know?
Basically,
Like
the
like
whole the whole of Seattle, the whole of Seattle is just a rich college town, as far as I consider, with no college.
yeah, yeah, boy,
That's
yeah,
basically
boy.
where it is at this point.
Like I know it was filmed at a college, but I just say like, where's this place, Trent? Because you see
You know.
other like people doing sculpture and whatnot. Other people doing like interpretive dance and film, and like, where's this place? You know what I mean?
You know.
Yeah. Well, actually, I read it up here right now. It's actually the Oregon College of Art and Craft. So,
Right, right,
okay,
right.
if that's how it looked like, all right, well, good, all right. But yeah, yeah, so she works there, but she also does like clay sculptures on the side and whatnot. She wants to do this art show, but at the same time, her landlord and neighbor, Joe, who is played by Hong Chow, she also has one as well, and apparently it seems to be more popular, like more people like rocking with her work and whatnot.
Right.
And just in a nutshell, it's just basically about Lizzie just kind of feeling sort of left out, sort of out of place in the world. She's not really sure why. She kind of feels like things are just moving slow. There's this running subplot involving just her not being able to have a cold shower, and she just keeps going to Joe, like, yo, Joe, you know what happened with the cold water? What going on? What going on, right? And,
Yeah.
you know, Joe's like, I'll get to it, I'll get to it. But she more focusing on she showed than anything else, you know what I mean? And there's this thing involving her brother named Sean, and, like, he have, like, something going on with, mental illness-wise. And just all these things that kind of creeping into her life, and you could tell that she is trying to keep things sort of rigid, kind of, you know,
Right.
straightforward, but it's just like, no, all these elements are coming in and I don't really know what to do, right? It's also represented too by, well, you know, this bird that shows up, that has this broken wing, and she's trying to mend it as well. And it's a metaphor, folks. That's why it's there, right?
Right.
It's basically a
Right.
metaphor, right?
Yeah.
So here's the thing about this show, right? So let's get this out of the way, right? This is the first film that I have seen from Kelly Reichardt, right? Never saw her
Right.
work. I know she did this film called First Call, which a lot of people was praising to high heaven when it dropped.
I saw that once, and I get why people might like that, but I couldn't get into that at all, Joe. I watched it. I only watched it once. But yeah,
Yeah.
right. She did Cruise Call, right? Okay.
Right. And I imagine the way how First Call was, which also was released by 824, by the way, I imagine it's the same thing with this show here, right? It's this sort of neo-realism. That's that's the best way to sum it up, right? Like, it's meant to be realist, especially with how characters interact with each other, right? Sort of plain and drawn out and whatnot. Nothing, you know, it's not like acting, right? But it's meant to be realistic, right? That's what's saying. The way how situations play out is very real, and, you know, it's sort of slice of life, but not exactly it's like that though. But I will admit though, it was sort of a chore to sit through because of just that sort of plain binding, I don't want to say binding numbers, but this is plain style of how things are presented, right? I think the reason why, well, all right, so the show I'll compare this to is Causeway, right? Which was another 824 release, but it's Jennifer Lawrence, and it's Paperboy, right? He was it as well too. That's the show that he got nominated for, right? You see how see how that show was like, yeah, it's just ordinary characters, it's just real people. It's not no actors playing you know, it's not like acting wise or like slightly exaggerated, you know, version of the real world. Yeah, it's just real people and how they socialize and talk to each other. That's what it is, right? But there's a story, there's you know, character moments, there's conflict and whatnot, emotional conflict, really, right? That's what I was looking for in this film, and I didn't really quite get that. I was looking for some sort of like internal conflict with Lizzie. I could kind of tell that she was going through something, but you don't really see it. It's just leading up, slight spoiler, into her art show. That's when I really felt it, right? Like, okay, she started to react to things. There's actually a sort of a great moment with her finally confronting Joe. It's like, Joe, give me where the cold water, Joe. Like, why you forgetting it? You know what I mean? Like that, nah. Like literally standing up to her. Like, that was what I was looking out for, right? But leading up to it though, is just how she manages in her day job, how she manages at home. There's actually like this long take of her doing some sculpting, and I'm watching this like, all right, I get, and this is like the overall thought I have with the show. Like, I get who it's for. It's for the people who have to, you know, who pull out the glasses of wine and sip it. That, look at this. This is art. This is, you know, this is. And I like that. Like I like artsy stuff too, but like there should be a sort of a point to it, and that's what I really felt with this one. Like, ultimately, I felt there was little to no point to it, and I felt like really what the show should have had, just simply put, is just more emotion. Like, I felt like we really should have felt how this character was feeling instead of just seeing her just sort of bump into things and kind of react sheepishly, and then near the end, that's when she kind of flips out, but she kind of doesn't flip out.
But I think that's the idea is just, you know how to, you know, eventually you'll lose your cool. That's the idea. I mean, it's a character piece. I get it. But it falls flat for me as well.
Yeah. It was cool seeing Andre Benjamin in this. It was cool.
Yeah, nice little role. Yeah.
And seeing it for myself, I was like, yeah, I totally understand why you're in a film like this. Apparently, he did the flutes. Well, he did some little flute pieces, a few flute pieces in the film as well too. That was cool. That's cool. That's cool. Still waiting for the Outcast album, but that was cool.
Not happening, but whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hong
sorry.
Chow is good
He's pretty
as
good in
show.
this. Yes.
And same thing
Yeah.
goes for with Michelle Williams, right? As Lizzie, right? Yeah, yeah. You know, like acting wise, everybody do their thing. It's just that story wise, and even like I will lie to you again. First time I seen a film from Kelly, right? You could see that sort of indie sort of mumblecore vibe to do with the way how the camera moves and whatnot, right?
Yep.
There's literally a zoom in which you could tell is manual, right? Like the way how it
Yep.
kind of zooms in, it just sort of jerks a little bit and then zooms in
Yeah.
even
Or
further.
it's it probably you know they always do that shit where it not manual it actually welting and then they will you know twerk it up in post. They do
Oh,
that a
right,
lot.
right, right. To give
Yeah.
it more of a like an indie feel,
Fake.
like yeah,
That fake manual. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, like that though. Like when I saw that, I was
Israel
like,
do
yeah,
that.
boy,
Yeah.
you real like it's some Richard Linklater slacker
Yeah.
type vibe you want, boy. But I
Yeah.
respect that.
Yeah.
I respect that, right? But yeah, at the end of the day, this is one similar to like how you said what you said about First Cow, where I really don't see myself watching this again though. But as
Yep.
far as you know, it's different and it's very low key. That's the thing. It's very low key, very
Right.
low budget, and I have to applaud A24 for at least giving directors like Kelly the opportunity to make films like this, right? Because I could talk for days about how the show was kind of underwhelming, but listen, this is Kelly's work. She wanted it this way. A24 say, all right, you want to make it this
Yeah.
way? Cool. Let me give you some money.
Right.
You make your film,
No,
right?
the thing is,
And leave you to do it.
it have a whole crowd that like this. You know, I can't tell them no. Cool. You know, in and out. You know,
Yeah,
so you know,
and
they
and
get Kelly the body some works, and guys they make it work.
yeah, and at the end of the day, before I get to rating, I could see this showing up in people's best of. Like people will come and say,
Correct.
yeah, in a show that had, in a year that gave us, loud summer blockbusters, man. I like that their
Correct.
shows are just sort of quiet and just, chill out and peaceful and stuff like that. Whatever it is, right? Like just stuff that just so unconventional that you love it just simply because it is unconventional, right? And that's the type of show that this is. I really should look up, seek out more of Kelly's work though. But for what it is, it's alright. So for me, I'll just give this a very light show out of 5. It's alright. It's alright for what it is. I get
Yeah.
why it is the way it is. I get the audience fit though. But I felt what could have just made the show a lot more impactful is just emotion, because I've got more of an emotional center to all of this. It's just seeing characters just sort of exist and be, you know what I mean? That's what I got with this, right? So Ricardo, agree or disagree?
Yeah, I mostly agree with you. I mean, I think I was a little more partial to than you, but you know, I get where you're coming from. Again, this is one of those it in your film club crew, you know, lists of movies that you feel you have to watch for the year. And I'm glad I watched it. It's not like I didn't feel like I waste my time or anything like that. But you know, to be honest, I ain't watching this a second time.
Yeah,
Right. Yeah.
so what would you rate it now that I
What
revealed the
did
truth
I
about
did
it?
I give this a rating last
I
time?
I,
I didn't
I,
give it a
I
rating.
can't remember if it did. I just think you just sort of mentioned
Yeah,
it and
it's
I said
look.
I would talk about
Yeah,
it.
yeah, it's good. It's good. It's good filmmaking overall. I can't deny that or take away from that aspect of it. So you know, I'll give it probably like a low 7, maybe a 6.
Alright,
But yeah,
yeah.
I enjoyed it for what it was. Like just you know, it is what it is.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, this and other films should like of this nature should be inspirational either for no budget filmmakers, to just come and say,
Right.
yeah, I could make stuff like this one day. I think if I'm not mistaken, that's how Kelly's career really picked up. Just saying, you know what, I don't
Right.
really have much of a budget, but hey, I can make stuff like this, right? I think this is like probably the third or fourth time that she and Michelle Williams worked together, so that's cool.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, I don't blame you to fall for putting this out. Like they seem to be, again because they have indie roots already. Like they seem to be the best place for films of this nature, right? Like yeah, you have a little or no budget film that have a kind of a intriguing, kind of unique, core to it. Yeah, we'll distribute it for you. And yeah, that's why I have to give respect to Kelly for actually making a film like this. But at the same time, just because I couldn't connect with the characters, I just felt alienated, right?
Yeah.
Even I could just come and say, yeah, it's for my crowd, like who just loves art and stuff like that. But at the same time, I just still felt alienated because yeah, there was really no emotion to it, right? But yeah, I mean, if you want to see it, yeah, see it, right? It's there.
Cool.